We were taught that Cesar Chavez was a hero, but what's not talked about enough is his cruelty against his own people coming from the border. Check this out.
Aclarando que muchos indocumentados participaron con nosotros como huelguistas también. Caminaron hasta Sacramento durante la marcha que habíamos hecho. Y cuando se firman los contratos en junio de 1970, lo primero que hizo Chávez fue poner en la ventanilla arriba, en la ventanilla donde entregaban las tarjetas de despacho para ir a trabajar. En la ventanilla arriba puso con letras grandes: todo trabajador que no cuente con papeles de residencia legal no puede ser miembro de tu sindicato.
Aunque habían participado en la rebelión.
Los que habían caminado inclusive a Sacramento quedaron afuera.
We were taught that Cesar Chavez was a hero.
Los mexicanos pueden unirse a los carteles para sobrevivir económicamente debido a las limitadas oportunidades laborales, para ganar estatus social o para cohesión, intimidación o falta de alternativas en zonas vulnerables. Algunos se ven impulsados por la necesidad de escapar de la pobreza o buscar protección en regiones con poca aplicación de la ley. Razones clave para unirse a los carteles: oportunidad económica en zonas de extrema pobreza. Los carteles ofrecen salarios altos y una estabilidad financiera que no se encuentra en la economía legal. Los mexicanos pueden unirse a los carteles para sobrevivir económicamente.
Who told the white man that the tribe of Issachar was his to deport from any goddamn land? How the hell you gonna come on their land and tell them they gotta get off their own land? Now normally you can't really say nothing because he got more guns, he got more bombs, he got more power. But if you believe in the Most High, you playing with the wrong stuff. Let me break it down for you. Can I break it down for you? The Lord got 12 tribes. And the Lord said the children of Israel are the apple of his eye. So if the other 11 tribes go and cry to the Lord about the way the 12th tribe, the most wonderful, amazing tribe of Issachar, is being treated, what you think God gonna do? We gonna stand with the Most High, and we standing with the tribe of Issachar and all the 12 tribes.
Also, too, you need your staff. Why? Because you're the priest of the Lord, and you don't let anyone just come up willy-nilly. You got to state your registry. You got to tell us who you are, where you come from, and all that. You know what I mean? That's the rules and regulations from the Most High. Also, too, what's your name?
Aaliyah Turner.
Aaliyah?
Aaliyah Sarah Turner.
Aaliyah, I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Aaliyah.
Aaliyah, what's your question?
How do we get our Hebrew name?
That is an excellent question, Aaliyah. Give her a hand. Denle un aplauso. You get your Hebrew name by being consistent, by being a good girl for 3 months. You be an excellent girl. You go home and you get excellent grades in school. You do everything right. You be someone that we all can be proud of. After 3 months, your camp leader through your parents will give you a new name and you'll be a new person and you'll start there. That's how you get your Hebrew name, okay?
Okay.
All right, come get some money, Aaliyah. All right, you got it. You know what you're doing. Good job. Well said. You're very eloquent. You know how to speak. You talk very well. Good job. Clap it up for her. What's your name?
Aaliyah Turner.
Aaliyah?
I was gonna ask, how do we know the ISUPK isn't like another Christian church?
That is an excellent question. The brother just asked, how do we know that the ISUPK is not another Christian church? Your question is so important because it is what Commanding General Yohana built this school on. This school is built on the answer to your question, all right? So the brother will read it for you right now. Tell him where you are and then read it, please.
John chapter 13, verse 35. By this.
By what?
By this.
By what?
By this.
The Bible says by this. This is written in red, which means Jesus Christ said this. By this, keep going.
Shall all men know.
Shall all men know. Go ahead.
That ye are my disciples.
You know, everyone says that they're following Jesus, right? Every Christian says they follow Jesus. Every Christian church says what? We follow Jesus. We love Jesus. But the actual man, Jesus said, this is how everyone will know that you are my disciples. You know what the term disciples means? I'll give it to you. It means that you follow Jesus. The majority, 99.9% of people that say they follow Jesus are lying. Mentirosa. They're mentiroso. They're liars. Do you understand?
Yes.
Right? This is how everyone will know that you're not lying.
If ye have love one to another.
If you what?
If ye have love one to another.
If you have what?
If ye have love one to another.
So how do we in the Israelite School of UPK know that we're just not another Christian church? Because we do what? Philadelphia, answer the question. He just said it. Just think for a second. Read it again, Ephraim.
By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if ye have love one to another.
How do we know that we're just not another Christian church?
Because we have love for one to another.
Give him a hand. He told the truth. You tell me, if you love each other, can you steal from me?
No.
If you love each other, can you lie to me?
No.
Can you hurt my child?
No.
Can you spread rumors and make everyone hate me in school?
No.
Can you talk about me on the internet?
No.
Why?
Because it's not loving one to another.
Give him a hand, tell him the truth, because that's what we do in here. Now, one last thing, if I could. Do Christians do that to each other?
Yes.
Oh, they do. They do. Come get some money. Well said.
I was gonna ask, how do we know the ISUPK isn't like
for Hispanic rappers to get respected? And I have to disagree. I think it's just subjective, because I rock with a lot of these Mexican rappers, and they don't need to just speak or rap in English for us to rock with them. I don't know about y'all, but y'all sleeping if y'all ain't listen to Santa Fe Clan, or even La Santa Grifa, or even El Moreno Mexicano, just to name a few, you know. Even DJ Paul from 36 Mafia says his largest audience is Mexicans. Mind you, I'm only mentioning Mexicans for now. I could mention you Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, it don't matter. Listen, it's just subjective at this point. What I do know for a fact is that we need to support each other more. Blacks, Latinos, and Native are one and same people, so just to support each other on all levels. Shalom. So there's
the Native Americans were the true Hebrews, the lost tribes of Israel of the Bible, specifically because so many different explorers from around that time frame said this. You see Jewish people wear these tzitzits on the side of their pants, and they do this specifically on Shabbat. You see Native Americans do the same thing with the fringes at the bottom of their clothes. They are showing themselves as separate people than the people of the world. They are people of Creator, as well as the feasts. They're luni-solar, based on new moons, full moons, as well as the 4 cardinal points, the solstices and equinoxes. These are Native American festivals. That's why when Columbus came over here, Hernan Cortez, William Penn came over here, and they saw them observing these same luni-solar festivals, they were like, these people are the lost tribes of Israel, the descendants of the tribe of Judah. The Native Americans were the
nosotros somos escuela israelita, conocimiento plato, sal.
Power of manifest destiny. It can only be understood as an act of destruction.
Tú eres un hombre hispano, negro, o indio nativo. Tu lugar es aquí con nosotros. Nosotros somos tu verdadera familia. Deja de seguir la costumbre de nuestros opresores y toda otra maldita nación. Tú eres Israel. Nosotros somos la escuela israelita de conocimiento práctico universal. Órale.
Yeah. Orale. We're right here. Another night back at it. What's going down? Rasa Shalom, Israel. If y'all can hear me, put a 1 in the chat. Salakia. Can you hear me, sir?
You come, Malakman, you coming in solid.
Most High in Christ. So once again, what's going down? This is another episode of the Inconvenient Truth. Of course, I'm right here, always with the Camarada, Mighty Priest and Officer 5000, Kamada, right here. You know what I'm saying? What's going on with you, sir?
Shalom, Lord Christ. You know what I mean? All the Rasa, and bringing out heavy topics, addressing, you know what I mean, these current events. God.
Right. Let me not that one, Salaki. Where's it? Applause. There we go. Give you a hand for that. Of course, I'm Priest and Officer 1000, Malakma, coming at reporting live from Sur Califa, ISUPK Southern California, ISUPK Mexico, reporting live from occupied territory. And want to say, Shalom, Yabashin Shabarakata to the Carnales, Yabashima Alata Bashim Yabashat to the Mujeres. And yeah, once again, man, this is another episode of the Inconvenient Truth, man. This is a Wednesday night, late night show, and of course, we want to go live tonight because, we used to always do this show on Wednesday nights. Ain't that right, sir? We used to do this show live Wednesday nights.
That's
so
right. That was the actual day that on Wednesday nights.
Right. So we got to keep the tradition going, man. But better late than never, man. Lord, now we could get started at 8 p.m. like we used to. But for now, we're gonna go live when we go live. But orale, let's get to it. Tonight's episode is titled "Teotihuacan Shooting When Violence Becomes Influence." Now, I'm sure a lot of y'all out there, right, have been paying attention to what's been, circulating online, and how many of y'all saw what happened in Mexico? Let me shout out the chat up in here. Of course, we got Mighty Priest and Officer Quadasha Allah, Shalom Karnal, Lord in Christ. We got the Trooper, what's going down? Trooper Matamiar, what's going down, Karnal? Shalom, Lord in Christ. We got Halak up in here, Shalom Karnal, Lord in Christ. We got for right now, anybody else, like who tunes in the future, man, Shalom. Y'all got any questions or comments, type them in the chat. Let us know your thoughts and opinion. But what do y'all know about what happened in Mexico? Was it yesterday or the day before? I believe it was, right, where that situation happened in Teotihuacan.
It's kind of.
Can you hear me?
Up on my end.
I don't know. So can you hear me now? Oh man, are you losing the signal? How about now, sir? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, okay, that's better.
Okay, Khan. But yeah, sir, Salaki, I'll ask you. Well, what have you been seeing circulating around online about that whole situation in Teotihuacan?
Okay, yeah, you was asking me. Well, one thing is that what was it? I think yesterday I was talking to my pops about it, and the victims and things like that. And I asked them. I was like, did they say who got shot up? Did they say who's the aggressor? He's like, nah, but little by little, the details on the story is coming out.
Orale.
And I don't know if you want to take it away, Malakma, and
Sir.
start it off.
Khan, no problem. So I'll just give my take on it. So what I've been circulating online.
What about you? What have you?
So yeah, so what I've been circulating online, right, is the images and footage, right, of a brother that was on the, in Salai. He was a brother. He was a Mexican man. He was on the pyramid, and for reasons that they're investigating now, right, they don't know why he started shooting at people. He hit 13 people, unalived one person, right, which I believe was a Canadian woman. So I believe he was targeting tourists, and he just, and then at the end he took his own life. After I believe they sent in the Mexican National Guard to try to take him down. But it's crazy because, of course, when you first hear about this story, you assume that it was a white person that went up at that pyramid and started shooting at people. But come to find out that, it was Raza that did it, man. And, here's what y'all got to understand. The reason why a lot of our people do the crazy things they do, right, is because they're copying the oppressor. You understand? We know that in today's age, the number one people that are responsible for mass shootings is the so-called white man. Teotihuacan is the pyramid of the moon. He went on top of the pyramid of the moon and started shooting at people, man. But you understand? But we know today that the number one suspect in all these types of incidents are white males. White males are the number one suspect. And they said that he was found, I guess they found like memos and things like that, him referencing Columbine, and that when this incident happened, it was on the anniversary of the Columbine shooting in Colorado out here. For all of y'all familiar, I'm sure a lot of y'all are familiar with what happened in Columbine, where those two white boys went into that high school and just started shooting at people. So, of course, once again, we're going back to people trying to live like this oppressor, right? What's the Bible say? If I could, I'll go to the book of John, chapter 8, verse 44. To start it off. Because the sad reality is that this oppressor, being the devil, right, will take this incident and try to spin the narrative, right? Don't be surprised to hear Donald Trump in the coming days, and you hear just the whole narrative being pushed up as to how violent Mexicans are, how a threat to society and safety they are. Donald Trump won his presidency calling us, rapists and criminals, always to try and push the narrative that we're a violent people. What do they always say about black people, right? 13% of the population commits 60% of the crime per capita, just to push a narrative when the highest population of people doing crimes is white people. The highest population of people doing these mass shootings is white people. But they will go and try to spin it to try to make it seem like it's us. And lo and behold, I bet y'all didn't know that that's actually biblical. And a lot of y'all, right? And we're gonna cover this later in a bit as well, right? A lot of y'all pro indígenas, especially that. Actually, this is. I want y'all opinion on this, right? All you pro indígenas, all you pan indigenous, talk about protecting the medicine and the culture and all that. I want to know what y'all had to say about this incident, because this happened at a sacred site. This happened at the Pyramid of the Moon, right? So all your danza circles and all that, right? What do y'all have to say about this? All you danzantes, what do y'all got to say about this? You understand? Because I ain't seen a video made yet from any of y'all addressing this. But let's get to it. Let's go to the Bible. Y'all won't make a video about Israelites, so y'all won't make a video to try and demonize the Israelites. So this is John chapter 8, verse 44, right? It says, "Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do." A lot of us think that, like our people are out there doing crime and doing horrible things, right? Atrocious things because we just, can't get our act together. It's just in us to be criminals. Nah, man, a lot of us are doing these horrible things because you're doing the lust of your father, the devil. When we say the oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of, we say it for a reason. It's in the Bible. You understand? As I'm showing you. You're doing the lust of America. You're doing the lust of this so-called white man. You understand? He was a murderer from the beginning, right? And a bold not in the truth, because there is no truth in him, right? This going back to Cain. Cain was the first documented murderer, right? In the Bible. And he lied, right? Like when God asked him, right? Like Cain, right? Was paraphrasing the blood. What is it? The blood of thy brother calls upon me, or something like that. What did he tell God? He told God, "Am I thy brother's keeper?" Right? Was that the term, sir?
He said, "Am I my brother's keeper?"
Right, am I my brother's keeper? Like it's basically saying, I don't know where he's at, when he knows exactly what he did. He lied, right? Because there was no truth in him. And it's the same thing with Esau. Later on down the line, when Esau was born, he plotted against Jacob. He lied on Jacob, right? Because he sold the birthright to Jacob, but then acted like Jacob didn't stole it from him. It says, when he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it, right? Y'all, this oppressor takes all the violence, right? All the incidents that happen with us and tries to demonize us for it. Meanwhile, he's the reason for these situations, man. They're the reason for this. They do all these things. Yet no one ever dares generalize and demonize white people. How much hell we get, sir, because we call the oppressor the devil? Because we point out the evil that these oppressors have done to us. Right, Matamia se hace.
To come against us.
Right, sir, right. Matamia se pinches edomitas se hacen las víctimas. Exactly. They make themselves. They're the ones that exhibit victim mentality. You understand? Especially the small hats. No one plays a bigger victim, has a bigger victim mentality than them. You understand? But when they speak of a lie, they speak of their own. Everything they accuse us of doing, they do it, And this brother that went and did this, man, he was following the lust of his father, the devil. You understand? He was following him, unaliving people like them, doing everything they do. And then at the end, even took his own life, like the way a white mass shooter does. Salakia.
Yeah, Khan, if I could, carnal.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
There's something heavy that you mentioned. And I'm going to share my screen. And now it's in Spanish, but I'm going to translate what it says, right?
Okay.
And this comes from, let me see, Salakia. Let me do it like that. If you could present it on the screen, can you see it?
La. Oh, there we go.
Okay, there it is. So like my end is a little bit lagging.
No, don't sweat. Let me see if I can add.
Do you see it? You see it right there?
I see it loading up.
Ahí está. But one thing that you mentioned, right? You mentioned that we don't even know if he's raza. You know, his name is Julio Cesar Jasso Ramirez.
Órale,
Now,
okay.
Jasso, you know, I don't.
Damn. So,
I
oh man.
looked it up, and it says that last.
So, like, sir, you're breaking up. You're breaking up.
Pensé que era de otro país. Okay. So, like, I guess because it's loading, it's breaking up. How about now? I just killed the sharing because it's probably lagging it.
If you want, you can send it to me, sir, and I'll share it.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better now. Now I can hear you.
No sweat.
Yeah, it did. It did.
If it didn't, no sweat. It's like okay, they could go back, pause it, and read it. But this is what it translated to, right? This is what I think his landlord said this. He said, tenía un tono raro, pensé que era de otro país. And that translates to, he had a strange tone. I thought he was from another country. And I'm pretty sure that came from the way he carried himself. Another thing that you expressed was that you know, he had admiration for Adolf Hitler, and he even made an AI picture of himself with Eric Harris and Dylan.
Damn.
I think
damn, he did all that.
The Columbine. Yes, he did. Those are the
Good
Columbine,
night.
the perpetrators. Yeah, those are the perpetrators of the 1999 Columbine High School massacre. And he also carried communist paraphernalia, right? And the attack occurred on the 27th anniversary of the Columbine shooting and on Hitler's 137th, you know,
good night
birthday. And he wore a shirt. I don't know. I'm not sure if you've seen this, Malagma. They said that he wore a shirt that bear the phrase "disconnect" and "self-destruct."
Disconnect and self-destruct.
It is associated with the Columbine massacre.
Damn.
And in his backpack, he had books about Columbine and handwritten notes also that were found in his backpack. He had written that he was guided by inspiration from beyond, and that he followed orders from supernatural entities.
Oh, good night, man.
That sounds like, you know,
mental illness.
The Spirit of America. Every time you tune in to I forgot. Remember that one Guido? He had the crazy hair, and they were talking about the supernatural. I think can't recall the name. It was on cable.
Ancient Aliens.
Ancient Aliens, right? That's one thing. They always try to follow some supernatural entity,
right?
You know,
right.
That's the American spirit, right? And according to authorities, Jasso, you know, we don't know. We can't confirm if he's a raza.
Okay,
you know, he has a strange last name. You know, Jasso fits the Khan. So he fits what they're calling him, a copycat, right or wrong? They're calling him a copycat. Yeah, and he's an imitator who replicates, you know, the symbolic, you know, crimes and what have you, right? And that's one thing. Another thing that you said is that he went to a historic site of Mexico. He didn't go to a club, you know, not a street corner, but he went to the pyramid, the lunar pyramid. You
Right.
understand? And what happened? You know, how did that act, how did that crime get there? Because what
Right.
started somewhere else, you know, we know it started in America. After the Columbine shooting, you started to have more public massacres, you know, in the club, at a theater, at a concerts, you know, grocery stores and what have you. Like that opened the door for public shootings, you know, and it didn't stay in America. Like it spread because that's the spirit of America. The spirit of America spreads like wildfire.
Right.
You understand? And that is the shadow. That is the shadow that it's in Mexico right now. And what Malagma, you know, he was saying that you know, because ye are of your father, the devil, and that's the reason why we imitate our oppressor. But if I could, Malagma, if you could get me Jeremiah 10:2, and we're just gonna read the top.
So like sir, I would say definitely I want a corn. Definitely I want a cord.
Oh, okay, come, Most High in Christ. Most High in Christ.
Right,
if you could give me Jeremiah 10:2, right? Because this is what the Lord warned blacks and Hispanics about. If you could start off on verse 1, so we know who the Most High is speaking to. Everybody believes that the Most High is speaking to everyone.
Right.
The Bible is exclusively for his chosen people. Now, the Bible is going to declare who is his chosen people. You got read it when you got it, Malak.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord spaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
Right. So the Most High said, "He hear the word which he speaketh unto you." So when the Most High is speaking to he's addressing a people that is his chosen people, the Israelites. Go ahead.
Come on.
He said, "Oh Israel," right? But
yeah, O house of Israel, right? Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
Now, this is very important for the house of Israel. The house of Israel is a house, and you find a family in that house. That house is made up of the 12 tribes of Israel. Today, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we are the true descendants of the biblical Israelites. And the Lord said, learn not the way of the heathen. Now, this man, who we're not going to say that he's one of us, but we don't know, he could be. Either way, the point is, if he is one of us, learn not the way of the heathen. He started to read about Columbine. He started to have admiration for Hitler.
Right.
He started to worship, you know, the perpetrators of the Columbine shooting.
Right.
And he assimilated. He learned the way of the heathen, and that's the reason why that violence, that crime happened in Mexico, because he learned the way of the heathen. You understand? And but what we are seeing is that our own raza are studying their violence. They copy it, and then they go out and they repeat it. That's why they're calling this man a copycat. Because, you know, they found books, you know, he made an AI image of himself in the light of these criminals, because he assimilated mentally, spiritually, and he embodied that that spirit of destruction. And the Bible calls it something deeper. Learn not the way. It's important for blacks and Hispanics to not learn the way of the heathen, because this is the outcome. You pledge to America, but the outcome is that you're going to go out like an Edomite. You're going to go out, commit the crime, and then you're going to go out and unalive yourself. That's the worst way you could go out, like a damn coward. I yield, my you got it.
Nah, that's heavy said, because I was gonna go, like, when I was gonna bring, I plan to teach a future class on this. I was gonna bring out these scriptures, and especially I was gonna go into Jeremiah the 10th chapter about learning not the way of the heathen and not being dismayed at the signs of heaven. Right? He was at the pyramid of the moon, so he's already, you know what I mean, like being dismayed at the signs of heaven. You know. I mean, I don't know, sir. So, like you said, his last name was Jasso.
Jasso, hey, Malama, that's heavy that you said that, because being dismayed at the signs of heaven. Remember that they tend to follow orders from supernatural entities. That's crazy. Right. But yeah, what you gonna say about the Jasso, Malama?
Yeah, that's his last name, right, Jasso? Because this the cat right here that did it.
Yeah.
So, like, I saw this, okay, I was like, okay, man, it looks more like a brother, and of course, it's in Spanish, the story, but here I'm gonna translate it to English real quick. Oh, here we go, Google Translate. So, in English, it says, sick people shooter identified in the attack at the Pyramid of the Moon in Teotihuacan. He lived in Tocoman within the Gustavo A. Madero borough in the La Purísima neighborhood. After confirming that the alleged shooter involved in a gunfight at the Teotihuacan archaeological zone, specifically at the Pyramid of the Moon, died at the scene, it was reported that the individual was a 27-year-old man identified as Julio Cesar Jasso Ramirez. The identity of the alleged perpetrator responsible for the death of a Canadian tourist and injuries sustained by at least 13 other people was established after an official form of identification was discovered among the shooter's personal belongings. It also came to light that just meters away from the body of the subject who died at the scene immediately after perpetrating the attack, authorities located a framed photograph created using artificial intelligence in the image. He appeared to be posing alongside Eric David Harris and Dylan Bennett Klebold, the perpetrators of the Columbine High School massacre in Colorado, which took place on April 20th, 1997. So what we've been bringing out right about this cat is that he was influenced in copying the Columbine shooters.
Right.
Jasso, Salaki, what is Jasso? What nationality? That's white?
Let me see if I still have it on my Go ahead, and I'll get it for you.
No problem. Matamia said, man, that's crazy. He thought he was a terrorist like the oppressor Khan. He was copying the oppressor, learning the way of the heathen, doing the lust of his father, the devil, man. And of course, he unalived 13 people. Or sorry, he shot 13 people, unalived one. And ultimately, he took his life. He's 27 years old. This cat looked like he's a lot older in this picture, at least. Salakia. But this is the guy that did it. Let me see if I can pull the video that I was gonna pull. Where's the YouTube story that I had? Because I wanted to play video on it. But it's just crazy how this whole thing went down. And, you know, here's one thing I will say, right? And I'm going to address it later when we go over the second topic. Y'all demonize the Israelites, right? Y'all demonize us for indigenous erasure. Talk about we I don't know what they tell us, that we're disrespecting indigenous culture and Mexican cultures and all that. I'm gonna tell you one thing. Had a brother with this type of mental illness, you know, came and spoke with us, got counsel from us, that would have never happened. He would have never went and did that. You understand? Y'all think we so horrible, but you know how many mentally ill brothers and sisters the ISUPK counsels and, you know, gets that demon out of them to prevent things like this? You understand? So that's one thing that I can tell you. If this is a brother and had he been in the truth, this situation would have never happened. So you can demonize us and ridicule us and mock us. We know it just comes with the territory. It's biblical. You understand? But one thing you can't say is that the UPK makes a difference. The UPK fixes lives, man. You understand? Saves lives. I don't know if he was going to danza circles and all that and doing all that. I don't know if he was reconnecting, if he was all about decolonization. I mean, he was at an indigenous site, you know, aiming at tourists. You understand? No. But even so, him doing that, what did that do? What did that accomplish? Not absolutely nothing. And he ended up taking his life. You understand? So, you know, that's one thing I want to say is that, you know, y'all need to understand why these things happening. Y'all need to understand that, you know, trying to be like this oppressor, having his mindset will lead to your demise. And I don't know what's gonna, you know, in the coming days from the investigation, what's gonna follow, but I'm sure they're gonna, you know, dig up all types of things on him, you know, to try to, you know, find out why he did what he did, man. You know, but let me look up. I had some videos lined up, man, but I don't know what happened.
No sé, carnal.
A Canadian tourist has been killed and 13 other people injured after a man with a gun opened fire at the Teotihuacan pyramids, according to Mexico's government. Video shared on social media shows an armed man standing atop one of the historic pyramids north of Mexico's
look at that.
And opening fire on tourists. The shooter, identified as a 27-year-old Mexican man named Julio Cesar Hasso, later died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Authorities said the injured were receiving medical attention. The local government said 7 people were wounded by gunshots. How the other people were injured was not disclosed, but a number of people fell when the shooting started, some while climbing on the pyramids. The injured included American, Colombian, Russian, Brazilian, and Canadian tourists.
Mexican officials are now searching for a motive to try and explain that deadly shooting at a famous Mexican pyramid on Monday. A Canadian woman was killed and more than a dozen other tourists from several countries were wounded after a gunman opened fire at a popular tourist hotspot near Mexico City. According to authorities there, the gunman fired several shots at the archaeological site before taking his own life. Valeria Leon reports.
I'm in Teotihuacan pyramids in the state of Mexico, just 40 miles north from Mexico City. Here is the Pyramid of the Moon, where yesterday an attacker climbed those stairs and opened fire. He killed one tourist from Canada, and then he killed himself. He was identified as a 27-year-old from Mexico City. This place remains closed. And here are two tourists from Italy. How do you feel about what happened here yesterday?
Honestly, I discovered everything like this morning, but yeah, we changed these plans yesterday just for schedule organization, and yeah, it was shocking, but yeah, I understood today really that someone was murdered because we thought just that there were some shooting.
And inside this place, 13 people were injured. 8 of them are still in hospitals nearby. And authorities have confirmed that among the victims, there are tourists from the US, Canada, Brazil, Colombia, and also Russia. And this came as a shock because Teotihuacan is the second most visited archaeological site in the country. Last year, it received 1.6 million visitors. And it also has raised concerns because Mexico gears up to receive the World Cup and receive also more than 5 million visitors during this summer. President Claudia Sheinbaum said this incident deeply pains Mexico. Also, Mexican authorities have confirmed they are in contact with the Canadian embassy.
Nuestra solidaridad con los familiares de la persona que perdió la vida.
Security forces are being deployed here, and also they're investigating what are the motives behind this crime and what made this 27-year-old man open fire in the middle of the morning in one of the most iconic archaeological sites. Valeria Leon, CNN, Teotihuacan, State of Mexico.
You know, it's hard to make sense of how something like that could happen in a place so beautiful.
A Mexican national treasure, the Pyramid of the Moon near Mexico City, turned from a stunning destination into a deadly scene when gunshots erupted Monday morning around 11.
I could hear all these people starting to rush towards me, and I knew at that moment something bad is absolutely happening.
Tim Chung is from Seattle. He was on a tour about 200 meters away from the pyramid, just moments before the sound of gunfire echoed through this historic site.
A lot of screaming. We were still pretty far away, but there's probably a lot of screaming and just a lot of chaos. And about 20 to a minute.
So, like, if I could, right? What's even more sad is that you see the pyramids are in ruins, all destroyed, right? And you see oppressors going and seeing that. And then you're wondering why there's a spirit of you know, like that spirit's out there, man. But like the words can't even describe, you know, I don't even know the right words to put, but it speaks volumes, you know, understanding, seeing the pyramids in ruins, knowing the history, knowing what this oppressor did to our indigenous ancestors. And then, you know, for this incident to happen is like, just shows the spirit of death that's just, you know, what that circulates, you know, around this place because of this oppressor. You know, and because we don't follow God, because we don't follow the Most High, you know, we're surrounded by death instead of life. All right, let me see. Let's play more of this video.
Later, I was just still standing there, just trying to see what was going on, but I hear all these gunshots.
His tour group moved toward the Sun Pyramid, trying to put distance between them and the violence.
That's when we saw like the Mexican National Guard start with their pickup trucks and machine guns hauling down the road. That's when we saw helicopters.
He watched as the gunmen climbed the pyramid and authorities moved in. Police say the suspect was found dead at the scene with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He was a 27-year-old Mexican citizen who acted alone.
This could happen anywhere. You know, I mean, there's mass shootings, there's shootings in schools in the U.S. It's not just a Mexico problem. I'm just glad that it wasn't some big terrorist attack.
Authorities say a Canadian woman is dead and more than a dozen were injured, including at least 7 who were shot.
What they just went through is not a normal situation, and I hope they get all the help that and all the support that they need.
A trip meant to explore history, now marked by trauma.
Traumatizing. Something like this is you never will forget about it for the rest of your lives.
Reporting for King 5 News, I'm Brady Wakayama.
So, like, sir, I also want to read this, right, that I just looked up right now as we're covering this, right? Before people get, think we're making it up, the numbers don't lie, right? I'm not making any of this up. Y'all can look this up in your Google machine. Look at this. I typed in, right? Let me see, is it showing right there? Okay. I typed in majority of mass shooters by race. And from what the AI is saying, it says this: based on data from 1982 to 2026, the majority of mass shooters in the United States are white. Studies indicate that white males commit approximately 52 to 55% of public mass shootings, which broadly mirrors the racial distribution of the U.S. population. Other perpetrators are Black, Latino, Asian, or other races. Race breakdown. According to the Statista report on mass shootings covering 1982 to March 2026, about 55% of the shooters were white, 17% were Black, and 8% were Latino. Another comprehensive database cited by the Rockefeller Institute of Government shows 54.8% white, 21.5% Black, 9.2% Hispanic, 5.4% Asian, and 5.3% other. Context: while white shooters constitute the majority, they are not necessarily overrepresented compared to their share of the total population. Other demographics: the vast majority of mass shooters are male, approximately 97 to 98%. Distinctions: research shows that while white middle-aged males often commit family mass murders, felony-related mass shootings connected to other crimes are often committed by younger Black or Hispanic males. That's crazy because you can tell this is why the oppressor is the devil. They'll say that to try and paint us a certain way when that's the numbers about that are arrests. Even there, they try to. You see how they say the same thing, like they say one thing then say another. That's where they use that whole per capita BS. Right. It says key findings on shooter demographics: white 53, Black 21, Latino 9%, Asian 7%, other 5%. The data indicates that there's no single. It says the data indicates there is no single profile of a mass shooter, but they are predominantly male and white. 53% white. Y'all will always find a way to not demonize yourselves, but you're quick to demonize us for other things, as I just read right here, man. This is why we call you the devil, man. You understand? When he speak of a lie, he speak of his own. And then for y'all demonizing the Israelites, let me read this scripture to y'all, man. This is Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 7. It says, "Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou was a stranger in his land." You want to know what abhor means? Abhor means to do abominably, to treat with hatred. That cat was abhorring people, man. That's abhorring. Doing a mass shooting on white people, that's abhorring an Edomite. And the Bible is telling us not to do that. So when y'all want to call us, talk about how dangerous we are to white people, we're far the furthest thing from it. You understand? Because the Bible, we follow the Bible, and the Bible tells us not to do that. Let me go to Exodus. Exodus 20, 20 and 13. Another scripture. Thou shalt not kill, right? For all of y'all talking evil about the Bible and about the Israelites and about, God, this is what God is telling us not to do. The real translation to thou shalt not kill is thou shalt not murder. You understand? And that's what he did. He unalived people. Thou shalt not unalive. He unalived all those people, did what he did. And the Bible's telling us not to do that. Once again, had he been listening, if that is a brother and he was in the truth, he would have never did that. That's what I can tell you. You know, and I was gonna tell, they're gonna do an investigation, they're gonna find things and bring out things. You're gonna find out what he was into and following, man. Obviously, he idolized white people. He idolized the mass shooters because he had AI pictures with them. You understand? So that right there should let you know something. But go ahead, sir. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, Khan, I want to say this, that, okay, so now you're just not looking at violence. Like, you're looking at learned behavior, right? And
Right.
that's the reason why the Bible warns us up and down. It warns us up and down about learning the way of the heathen. You understand? And that should be very important to Black brown behavior.
Right.
You know, and this is the thing that we got to slow this down. We got to slow it down because this is not just somebody snapping for no reason. This was premeditated, just like how the Columbine shooters premeditated. They came with a plan. They executed their plan, and everybody after them have done the same. You understand? So when you start to see a pattern, and they are studying the past attacks, and now they're recreating, you know, what they have studied. You're not just dealing with an action anymore. You're dealing with a mindset, and that's what the Most High is trying to warn us about. Not taking this mindset is not congruent to who we are. The Lord didn't make us a people of destruction. He made us a people of life. You understand? He said, "Be fruitful and multiply." You understand? And if you could give me Psalms 11 and 5. If you could give me the book of Psalms 11 and 5, because violence is a learned behavior. That is the culture of the oppressor. You see it all in their movies. I don't know if you ever seen that movie, what's that mafia old movie with Marlon Brando? The Godfather.
Right.
I don't know if you yeah, but the second part.
Oh, part 2.
Where his son becomes, part 2. Right, he unalived his own brother. Right, and he did it to protect the business.
Right.
And he confessed to the damn bishop or whatever you call him in that Catholic church. Right, he told that you know that he was going to be forgiven or what have you. You understand? But what does the Bible truly say about violence? You read it when you got it, Malakma.
Kawakan, this is a book of Psalms, chapter 11, verse 5. The Lord trieth the righteous, but the wicked and him that loveth violence, his soul hateth.
Was that the end?
Kawakan, did you want to read the next verse?
Nah, Salakia. Let me see. Let me get there with you, Salakia. 11, 7 and 5. The Lord trieth the righteous. Right? Meaning you want to, this is what the Bible says. It says, be angry, just paraphrasing, but sin not. America is wearing us out. You understand? And the Bible also says oppression maketh the wise man mad. But even if you get mad, you cannot commit sin. That says the Lord trieth the righteous. You're going to be tried, but you're going to have to be kind. You have to deal with humility. You understand? You're going to have to let go and sacrifice, let go and compromise with certain things so you won't commit sin.
Right.
In America, they teach you that God hates the sin, but he loves you. And that you can still go to heaven as long as you get baptized or what have you. That is hypocrisy. The Christian church that abuses women and children is teaching you to abhor other nations, to abhor and abhor your own people. You understand?
Right.
And then he's saying, but the wicked and him that loveth violence. Can you read that again, Malama? That part right there? And the wicked, but the wicked. So,
but the wicked and him that loveth violence, his soul hated. So, like Jeremy,
the Lord hates wickedness, and he hates when you commit violence. Right? So it doesn't just say someone does violence. It says someone can love violence. How do you know this man loved violence? Because he studied it. He had an affinity for it. He focused everything he had for it. That's how you know he loved the violence. And he had an attachment. He had an interest. He was attracted. You understand? You don't like he aligned himself to a date. He aligned himself to an attack.
Right.
And then he recreated what he studied. You understand? And you don't do that unless it's in you. And unless you draw to it. And the reason why Black and Hispanics are drawn to it is because of the movies. It's because of the music. Right. And we know who owns the music industry. The small hack gutter rats, the imposters. They own the movie industry. They own everything. And that's their agenda. They push these lifestyles so Black and Hispanics can be drawn to it. You understand? But the Lord hates him that loveth violence. So like but the wicked, so like the wicked, because this is a wicked thing. Right. And him that loveth violence, that's wicked. To love violence. You understand? If you listen to a song and it makes you want to go out and commit a drive-by, don't even play that song. Play something else. Like listen to what you really should be listening to is to the brothers in the ISUPK, man. These brothers got a hardcore music. Right. You understand? And this hardcore music will build you up. You should really be following and you should be studying Commanding General Yohana, all the generals, all the captains, all the officers. You should be studying and you should have a love for what these brothers have done, for what these brothers have brought up. They brought me up. They brought Officer Malala up. Right, damn right. And we're drawn to this. We're drawn to the spirit of the Most High. The Most High has a spirit. Exodus 15:3. The Lord is a man of war.
Right.
You want to go to war? Study us. Follow
Right.
us. Have love for us. You understand? That's how you defeat the love for violence.
Right.
You understand? At one point, we had love for wickedness and violence, but we learned from men that were better from us.
Right.
We held ourselves accountable for our wrongdoings.
Right.
We changed it and corrected it. And now we are the men who you have as proof that you can be mighty. We have men that you can draw to who are solid. You understand?
Right.
How you with that, Carnal?
Nah, I know so most high in Christ, sir. That's heavy, you know. And once again, right, y'all want to demonize and make God to be the villain. God's saying that, you know, the Lord trieth the righteous, but the wicked and him that loveth violence his soul hate. The Lord hates those who are wicked and those that love violence, like this oppressor, like these other nations, right, that love violence and are wicked and do evil unto us. You know what's Romans 9:13 say? For Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. Right? For thy violence and Obadiah, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee. The Lord's not, you know, the Lord is not with any of that, man, and doesn't tolerate it. So that should let you know something, man. You know. And just a FYI, I put the links in the chat. Go ahead, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Carnal.
Now, let's say just real quick. I put a link in the chat for anybody that's trying to join, that's coming with questions or want to share your thoughts and opinions on this matter, right? Because here's my question, right? What would any of y'all have done to try and prevent this, man? What do y'all teach, right? What do y'all have to offer the community to teach to take brothers who are mentally ill like this and try to keep them from doing these type of actions? But go ahead, sir. Salaki.
Now, real quick, Carnal, you know, just to add on to what you're saying, that's true. You know what I mean? Because America has taught us to accept, you know what I mean, that what do they call it? They call it something culture.
Assimilate.
The Me Too.
Oh, the Me Too, the cancel culture.
Me Too culture.
Or the Me Too movement.
Okay, hold on. Is that different? So like, okay, no, okay, never mind. I thought the Me Too was like, you do it, I do it too. So like, but that's the spirit of America. The spirit of America is that America's doing it. I want to do it too. I want to be a part of it. You know what I mean? You are influenced by America. So once again, this is not just about what happened in Teotihuacan at the pyramid of the lunar pyramid. This is about what already is inside of the person who did it or the person who's going to commit it. You understand? Because here's the truth. You can't carry something out physically unless you're already accepted mentally. You know what I'm saying? And if you have accepted the American spirit, you have a mental illness, just like what Malak, you know what I mean, is touching on. That is that's mental sickness.
Right.
And that's the reason why the Bible doesn't focus on the act first. It focuses on the love of it. You understand? He said, if you love violence, you understand? It didn't say if you commit it. No, if you love, him that loveth violence, his soul hated. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we know, you know, when you have committed violence.
Right.
You understand? But this is the thing, that if you do it on the left-hand side, you cannot contain yourself. You're gonna go overboard. And once you come to the realization, you're gonna become a coward, and then you're gonna unalive yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's where this whole conversation shifts. You understand? Because now we're not just talking about the violence. You know what I mean? We're talking about how also someone gets to that point where he commits violence, and then he wants to disconnect. What did his shirt say, Malakman? Did I tell you his shirt say?
Oh man, I forgot. Let me see. Look it up.
That's what he believed. He believed about after, you know, he committed the crime. He was just gonna disconnect himself because he's too much of a coward to face justice.
Right.
Go ahead.
It had to do the t-shirt had to do something with the shooting in Columbine, right? So I believe that's what it was, right? I can't recall just what you said, but I believe it was something like that. We could look it up and pull, you know.
Hold on, I got it right here.
Okay, orderly.
It said he wore the shirt. It said disconnect and self-destruct.
Disconnect and self-destruct. Damn. Good night, man.
He self-destructed, carnal.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we know because of his study, because he studied Hitler. What did Hitler do? He you know, supposedly he self-destruct. I don't know. So like it. Now, you know, the Columbine perpetrators, you know, they're locked up, but that's the whole belief.
Right.
And disconnect and self-destruct.
So obviously he was disconnected from society, right? And was already on the self-destructive path.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy, man. You know, but you know that's one thing, man. Like, you're gonna see incidents like this happen when our people want to be like the oppressor, want to copy what the oppressor does, man. You know, so just take note of that.
These are
Raza.
examples of oppressors that glorify.
Right.
These are examples of brothers. So again, we don't know but if he is, this is an example of people who glorify the oppressor. Go ahead,
Right.
Salaki.
Not exactly that. You're glorifying the oppressor. You idolize them. You want to be like them. You're following the lust of your father. You understand? So, I mean, you're going to do the evil they do, but here's the difference. God is going to come down harder on you because you're God's chosen people and you're doing wickedness. God don't give a damn about these other nations. He's going to punish the other nations for the evil they do, but he's going to have a special punishment for you, Israel. You do anything evil that these other nations do. You know.
Hey, Carnal, and just to add on, and we can move on to the next topic after this.
Okay.
You know, we're pressed for time, but just to add on to what you said, right? The lust of your father ye will do. Violence doesn't begin in the hands. It begins in what a person chooses to admire. This man was admired the oppressor to the fullest.
Good night, man.
So much so that he studied them. He had books on it. He converted himself in some type of what did it say? I got it right here. The AI.
Yeah,
he made an
AI.
AI of himself with Eric, with the two perpetrators of the Columbine shooting, the Columbine
Good.
massacre.
Right.
You understand? He admired this lifestyle. But once again, it didn't begin in the hands. It began in choosing who to admire. And he chose to admire animals, beasts,
Damn. Right.
lunatics. You understand? That's who he chose to admire.
Right.
You got it, carnal.
No sweat, sir. And that's the whole point. Stop trying to be like your oppressor, Raza. Stop trying to be like stop trying to be American. Stop trying to be all that, man. You're only gonna lead to your demise, man. But I think let's segue to the next part.
Right.
We are pressed for time. It's getting late, But there's something that we've been wanting to address also, and then I figured it's fitting for us to talk about it here because we had this incident that happened at a sacred indigenous site. And you got people out there that are all about protecting, sacredness when it comes to being indigenous, right? Let me say this, man. For some reason, I don't know whether it's a psyops, whether it's COINTELPRO, we understand that we'll always be hated. We'll get accused of crazy things, lies. That's what they did to Christ and his disciples, right? So it just comes with the territory. But I'm going to tell all y'all out there, if y'all wondering, have some questions, instead of assuming things about us, just ask us. Come have the conversation with us, man. Have the conversation instead of making videos and assumptions about us, man. Come talk with us so things can get straightened out, man. You understand? And of course, I'm gonna start out like this, man. Of course, back at the beginning of April 4th was the Lord's Passover, right? Shout out all the brothers and sisters that showed up for that night, man. Let me give them a hand real quick, man. Where is that audience?
That's right.
Man? Let me shout out Yashikar and Kamar real quick, man, for that, man. Let me find that image of Yashikar and Kamar, man. These brothers was out there representing, man,
Yeah, carnal, like how you was saying, man, don't make a ass of yourself.
Right.
You understand? Like if you don't know, ain't nothing wrong with asking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Don't Google it either. Ask us.
Right.
We are the source of it. You know what I'm saying? We are the source of what we believe. Don't go Googling us. You know what I'm saying? And that's the difference, that we don't make assumptions.
Right.
If we don't know about you, we're going to ask you to see what's your position. We're not going to assume that's what you believe in. We're going to ask you what's your position so we can address it.
Right.
But yeah, Kana, go ahead if you want to.
So of course, so in this image, right, man. First of all, let me shout them out, Kana, because these carnales had some fly ass garments, Kana. You understand? I mean,
yeah, they did.
You know what I mean? Like no other brother was rocking that garment like Yashikar and Kamar. You know what I mean? Them brothers really, stepped the game up this Passover, man. And of course,
he did.
people out there in the world see this, right, and assume many things. But let me say this, man. These brothers were rocking these garments because they were doing the one thing that a lot of y'all think we don't do in the ICPK. What a lot of y'all think we don't do when we become Israelites. Y'all think that we just erase being Mexican. Y'all think that we erase being who we are. Now, let me say something, right? Let me clear that up. Because Mexican is a nationality, right? It's not a race. It's a byword, right? Because Mexican is what's we claim to be Mexican because we don't know who we truly are, right? Mexican comes from the term Mexica, which is just one tribe in Mexico, right? And Mexican is a nationality. You know what I mean? There's white people living in Mexico that can technically be Mexican, right? There's Asians living in Mexico that can technically be Mexican. But they claim they know they're Asian, they know they're white, they know they're European. Many Mexicans today say they're Mexican because they don't know their racial identity, right? They like to push the lie that we're part Spaniard, part indigenous, right? Because of an atrocity done when the Spaniards arrived. Yet, a lot of us, right? A lot of us don't go to Spain every summer, right? We don't go to the town where supposedly our Spaniard conquistador fathers came from. Never been there. Don't know anything about that. And you want to know why? Because we're not Spaniards. You understand? And a lot of us have been detribalized. We don't know the indigenous nation we come from, And even that within its own, sir, a lot of the indigenous people out there will look at that and not even accept us, Won't even accept us because we don't know, say that we're not indigenous because we don't know the tribe we come from. We don't know the language, right? There's so much gatekeeping that goes on, and I understand why, right? Like you think your indigenous identity is at risk. Y'all think that the oppressor can just erase y'all on paper, but he can never erase you. You understand? Then you got movements like the Aboriginal movement out there, which I'm almost more certain that has to be another CIA psyops movement, right? Which was purposely put out there to pit black and brown against one another, blacks and Mexicans against one another, blacks and Native Americans against each other, to keep this whole beef amongst us, right? To erase the fact that a lot of black people and indigenous people got together during the early days of colonization when slavery was taking place, to erase the fact that black and brown took care of one another, looked out for one another when this oppressor was attacked. We were together and united.
Right.
And then came in the Buffalo Soldiers. Then came in the 5 civilized tribes, right? And throughout time, this whole history of America, man, we have always been at odds with one another. We think that we suffer worse than the other. We think that this group is after my group. You understand? We think that black people hate us, and black people think that we hate them. And so you have all these movements, all these ideologies that keep us against one another. And it's evidence when I see the reactions to these brothers as garments out there that, man, we're still colonizing the mind. A lot of y'all think y'all have been decolonized and that y'all got rid of the ways of the oppressor. When based on your reaction to us, y'all still colonizing the mind. Y'all still y'all still follow the oppressor and worship him and what he teaches. You believe what the oppressor tells you to be the truth. You understand? Just based on the reactions to these brothers as garments, man. And all these brothers were doing was representing being Mexican. You understand? Being Issachar. And a lot of you out there will say, well, they're wrong for that. They're trying to mix a culture. I don't understand how they're trying to mix a culture. They're just, they're they're embracing what they believe is their culture. You understand? If you and I'm gonna get more into that in a second. Sir, is there anything you want to say?
I just wanted to say that, you know, the regalia or the garments that the brothers is wearing, like, yeah, it's Mexican, but that's not where it stops. Like, our culture is biblical. You understand what these brothers is wearing? The fringes and this is a priestly garment,
right?
You know, and now you have people who are danzantes, right? But this garment has stature. Not anybody could just wear this garment. You understand? And that comes from a biblical structure. Now, you know, again, brothers and sisters don't know that. They don't know that this is a priestly garment. Not, you know, you understand? And this garment represents order, represents structure, and it's biblical.
Right. So you know,
Because here's the thing: that if it wasn't, so like I was gonna say,
go ahead,
if
sir.
it wasn't priestly, there's no way these brothers would have put it on. There's no way these brothers would have shown up to a holy convocation, dripped down in a holy garment. This is a holy garment. You understand? You got the armbands, you know, you got the headpiece, you got the fringes. This is biblical, but brothers don't want to understand this, and that's the reason why they have contention with us when we call ourselves Israelites. They really don't want to understand it. They just want to separate themselves from us, but they will accept and allow anybody to join,
right?
As long as they respect the, what they want to call it, the medicine.
It's a lot. Yeah, right.
As long as you respect the medicine, you're native.
Still like it.
Even if you're not native by blood. That is insane. So like,
I'm saying let's play the video and then let's address the things, right, that are said.
You gonna play it?
I got it. I got the video. I got it right here.
No, I'm saying you're gonna play it, or should we just address it? We don't need to play the video. So,
you don't think we need to play the video? I know,
I
Sweat.
don't want to give.
Well, the only reason why
I don't want to give them. Yeah, and you know what I mean, because I would say this: he doesn't address us directly, right? And the thing is that he wants to use us so he could gain traction to his videos. You know what I mean? But he runs from questions. I mean, is it necessary? If it's necessary, it's to why. No sweat.
I would say it's necessary. I think it's necessary just because I want to address things that say I'm not okay. I'm not trying to give him the clout that he's trying to chase. You know, I understand that, but I want to address things that are said, right?
God.
And I think just because he represents, right, what a lot of people say. You understand what a lot of people say about us. So you know what, So you know what? Yeah, that's the, you know what, I'm debating that now, Sir Salaki. I don't know if we should play him now. Now that you think about it.
Yeah, I don't want them give him the, no clout, because he's not coming to us and asking. He's making assumptions. I think we could just address it like that. No sweat. You know what I mean?
So okay, let me say this right. So we get for the people, the audience that doesn't know, right? So of course these brothers wore these garments out there to our Passover, which is our Passover event, you know, and because you see them in, you know, danza outfits, right? Especially, you know, the people that claim to represent the indigenous community thought that we were at a danza circle, right? And thought that we were infiltrating it. Let me say this, man. We would never go to a danza circle to infiltrate anything. You understand? One thing about us, right, that we've been taught in the schools, that we do everything in decency and in order. We don't just show up somewhere, you know, where we don't know what's going on. You understand? We if we're there, it's because we spoke to somebody and we, you know, we got the approval to be there. You understand? We don't just show up. We're not going to show up to your danza circle. We're not going to show up to your powwow and set up and hold camp. You understand? And have our camp speaking right there. You understand? Because we know that's counterproductive. But, you know, people will see this. Go ahead.
We're going to show up to support.
Right.
You understand? We're going to show up to support, show brotherhood. You understand? We're not going to show up to, you know, we're not like fake Israelites that show up and you know, with these unity assemblies and, you know, try to condemn you. You know, that's not what we're going to do. If we show up, we're going to show up to support first and foremost. We know that at these events, sometimes they have stands, and we go out there to show support and to let people know that, look, we are the bridge. We're letting you know that we are one people. Now, we're not going to push it on you. You don't want to hear it, no sweat. We're not going to come and be like, hey, did you know? Now, if you ask us, we're going to let you know. But if not, we're not going to be out there just, you know, pushing what we believe on you. If you ask us, you know, we might come at you with a question, you understand? And that's it. We're not going to be out there trying to convert you. That's not what we do. We don't ask nobody to join this. The Lord already has chosen who he wants in the ISUPK, the home of the truth.
Right.
You understand? Go ahead, Malagma.
Now that's one thing I do want to address, sir. You know, and it's crazy every time. Like I always hear these arguments, right? Like y'all forcing your beliefs on us. Y'all forcing your, you know, y'all trying to indoctrinate us. No, we not, man.
Right.
You understand? We don't try to force our beliefs on nobody. We don't indoctrinate nobody. You understand? If you don't understand what we're saying, we're not gonna keep understanding it. As a matter of fact, let me pull that precept. What is it? Is it? It's after the second or third conversation.
Yeah, and when you're getting that, carnal, that's why we're not affiliated with no other Israelite group, because we see what they do. They go out there and they try to force something on somebody who the Lord has not chosen, and then they just bring contention with amongst raza. That's not what we do. You know what I mean? Not everybody's built for this. We're not going to try to force you, you know, to join us if you're not built for this. You understand? Go ahead, Malama Salaga.
Salaga, I'm just trying to find that preset. Dang it.
Paraphrase it again.
I know it goes. It's something along the lines after the third or second conversation. What is it? After the second or third conversation, if they still not believe or will still not hear thee, let them. I think it's let them depart or something like that. And that's the proof, right? Once again,
Try First Corinthians.
Yeah,
Go
First
ahead,
Corinthians. That's First Corinthians 7:15, right?
Okay, yeah.
That's the one that pops up, but I'm not too sure that's the right one. Let me see. Let me look it up.
Let me look into it. Go ahead, can I say what you want to say? I got you.
Oh yeah, this might be it. Let me see. Nah, this is not it.
Mm-hmm.
No sweat. Well, let me say this, right? The Bible instructs us that if we're, like, y'all see what we believe, right? Basically, the Bible's instructing us not to force this on you. You understand? Not to try and keep trying to convince you to come be an Israelite. We're gonna do our camp speakings. We're gonna teach our classes. We're gonna show where we show up in the spirit of brotherhood and sisterhood, right? But none of that is for us to be the equivalent of conquistadors and be the equivalent of the what would they call the Puritans and all those evil Christians and the evil they did, right? And do that into the indigenous community, to do that unto any of our people, unto the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? We go there because it's the right thing to do, not because we have some evil agenda. But of course, I understand why y'all think that. I understand why you think that you demonize us. It's biblical. You understand? It's in the Bible, in that same Bible that you think is such an evil book. Y'all think the Bible comes from the white man. I got a question for y'all out there. Are you pan-indigenous? Are you pro-indigenous? Let me say this. Show me where in the Bible it's the white man's book. Show me the proof that the white man wrote the Bible. You're going to go to King James and say King James was white and all this and that? Let me tell you something. King James did not write the Bible. You understand? The Dead Sea Scrolls, the Israelites. Show me where it is. Show me some archaeological evidence that the Israelites were Caucasians, that were blonde hair, blue-eyed men, that looked like conquistadors, that looked like Europeans, without the influence of the Catholicism, without the influence of the Christian church. Show me where it shows them like that. Show me a verse or a scripture in the Bible that was telling Israelites to go to indigenous people and to torture them, to do the evil unto them. Since y'all think we're so bad and so horrible, right? Since y'all think we're trying to erase, tell me where it says in the Bible to go in and erase indigenous people. I'll wait for you, any of y'all. That's my challenge to y'all out there, y'all pan-indigenous people out there, man. Come and show me the scripture that says that. Show me how you predate the Bible, because that's another one, sir. They say that they predate the Bible. Well, show me a book, chapter, and verse that gives the date and timeline of when the stories of the Bible occurred versus the oldest known indigenous tribe in the Americas. You understand? I'll wait for any of that. Go ahead, sir.
And if I could, the Bible gives a timeline of when we came to the Americas.
Right.
You know what scripture I'm talking about, Malama? You want to go there?
Yeah, you go there. We go there. Let's go to 2nd Ezra 13 and 40.
Right, and while you're getting there, I'm gonna present. Yeah, kind. The Bible is our. The Bible contains our records, our history. You understand? And that's one thing that the oppressor used to find us in the Americas. We have the proof.
Right.
When did the natives and indigenous get to America?
Right.
Because this is the thing. If they're going to say that it predates the Bible, This is one thing Moctezuma said. Moctezuma said that we come from the east. Now give us the timeline of when we were in the east, because the culture that you follow, you say you believe in, right? Moctezuma claimed that we came from the east. Now give us the timeline of when we were in the east and we came to the Americas. We have that timeline and it's biblical. You got the Malagma?
I have it right here. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Osee the king, who Salmanassar, the king of Assyria, led away captive. Go ahead, sir.
So this is the time when the 10 tribes, I'm trying to get there with you to the scripture, but this is when the king of Assyria, led by Salmanassar, hold on, let me get there. Just bear with me.
No sweat.
2nd Ezra 13. What was that? 40 what?
40, 13 and 40.
40, okay then. Right, which were carried away prisoners out of their own land. Which is our land? Jerusalem.
Sir, give me
Israel. Right?
Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna get my notes. I'm gonna grab my notes real quick.
No sweat. I'm gonna just break this down. Right. So those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land. Right. Now there was a split in the kingdom. You had the northern kingdom, you had the southern kingdom. Now this is the 10 tribes are the northern kingdom, and we were carried away prisoners out of our own land. You understand? In the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanassar the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried away over the waters. And so came they into another land. Now the Bible is going to tell us what's the name of this land. You understand? I'm going to read 41. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go further into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
Right.
America, no mankind didn't dwell. Right now, you have stories of how King Solomon would send out, his ships, and it was a span of what was it, a year and a half, I believe.
Right.
Verse 42, that they might there keep their statues, which they never kept in their own land, because they understood that they went into captivity because they disobeyed the Most High. So now they want to go back to their heritage, their statues, because they never kept their statues in their own land. Verse 43, and they enter into Euphrates by the narrow place of the rivers. For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. And the Most High was with the 10 tribes when they came from the east into the country where never mankind dwelt. He showed us the signs of how to come into the country of where never mankind dwelt. You understand? Verse 45, for there that country was a great way to go, namely for a year and a half. Again, when you read into the records of Solomon, how he sent out his ships for resources, it tells you the same thing. And the same region is called Assyria. Now, this right here is important, because this Assyria identifies the country where never mankind dwelt. Now, let me show you something. If I could.
Go ahead, sir.
Before I present this, you want to say something? You want to add to it, Malak?
Yeah, Khan, sir. I did want to say something, right? We're showing you the scriptures in the Bible, right?
Salakia, there you go. It's
Can you hear me
kind
now?
of lagging, Salakia.
No problem. This pendejo try to.
Did you say something, Salakia?
Yeah, nah, so like, sir, I was gonna say real quick, right? This pendejo, right, that was making, was trying to trip out on the brothers, right? Said that our beliefs come from the Church of Jesus, comes from the Mormons, right? From the Latter-day Saint Church. You're a pendejo for saying that because our beliefs don't come from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Our beliefs do not come from the Mormons. The Mormons did not believe, first of all, the Mormons believe that having dark brown skin was a curse. That's your first clue that that's not what we don't believe the same thing. We show you that Christ is black. We never call Christ cursed because he's black. You understand?
Right.
So that's your first clue that we don't believe the same thing as the Mormons. There's going to be people out there that believe similar things. People believe all types of things. How in the hell do y'all think that because someone thinks the same thing as something similar to you that you're no different than them? I'm pretty sure there's oppressors out there that believe you're Native American. Does that mean that you support white supremacy now, or that your beliefs came from white supremacy? Because you and white supremacists have a similar belief? No, it does not. You understand? Our beliefs come from the Bible, come from God. You understand? And our sources that we use to reference our books that are not from the Church of Latter-day Saints. These were explorers at the time, of course, right? Yes, and this is indigenous people that said accounts of indigenous people saying they're Israelites, saying they come from the East. You understand? We didn't make none of this up. And that's another narrative that people like pushing, sir. For some odd reason, which it's not an odd reason, right? The white man's the devil. We know we got psyops operations out there that want to push the narrative that we just made this up. When men before us had done the research, studied, looked at history, looked at archaeology, look at the current conditions of what our people suffer, and are making the connections. None of this is made up. You understand? But go ahead, sir.
Yeah, carnal. And this is another thing that not only that he stated that our beliefs come from the Latter-day Saints or what have you, but he put a date on it. He said 1880. He said our beliefs come from 1880. Now I'm gonna show you that our beliefs are.
Oh, what happened, sir? I think you froze. Damn. All right, no sweat. Salakia, we just I think Mouser Kamada he's in a bad spot, so obviously he's got connectivity issues. Okay, is he right there? Man, I don't know if it's because the class is in 1080. If I should have put it in 720, but dang, the signal's just not working, man. This whole thing's lagging. Of course, they probably just trying to stop our message from getting out. while I wait for Officer Commandant, right, to return, let me say this. Another proof, right, that we don't indoctrinate or force this on anyone is in when Christ talks about who he chose. You understand? Let me pull that precept real quick.
Can you hear me, Carnal?
Kaka, I can hear you now. No sweat, sir. I know I mean, I don't know what it is, man. This oppressor is just really probably just trying to stop our message, sir. That's probably what it is, more than anything.
Hold on. Yeah, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna send you this, and if you could present it for me, Baba Kasha. Hold on.
Okay. I was also gonna say, sir, because we're probably almost at the top of the hour.
Go ahead.
We should do an episode on showing how we are Israelites.
Yeah, we could do that.
We should do an episode where we're showing the evidence that we are Israelites. And all you indígenas listening, y'all welcome to tune in and bring your challenges and bring the smoke, you know. No sweat. You understand? No sweat on me. Yeah, go ahead and send it to me, sir, and I'll try to upload it. But for meantime, let me pull this precept.
Yeah, go ahead, Carnal.
John, I'm gonna go to John 15 and 16. Right. This is the book of John, chapter 15, verse 16. It says, "Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it to you. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you." Now, if you're wondering out there why, like, you can understand how you're an Israelite, but the brother next to you can't, this is why. What the scripture is saying is the reason why. You understand? Oh, man, let me see. You understand? That's why, and you know, I know a lot of y'all out there, especially fake Israelites, right? Y'all want to just teach everybody and force everyone to hear you. Yeah, I see y'all, man, trying to go out of your way to break down, you know, the Back Creek stone and the Las Lunas stone and you know, whatever other history you got, and they're not hearing it. They don't want to hear. They'll come up with some excuse to say it's fake. They'll come up and say that, you know, it's not valid. This is what I'm gonna tell you out there, man. Don't try and prove that to any of them, man. Don't tell them about any of that. Show how ridiculous what they're saying is. Show their hypocrisy, right? Y'all think y'all onto something here. Let me show you some hypocrisy real quick, right? What we follow is of the white man. Well, let me show you something. Let me go to my page, man. Let me go to my page real quick and share something. Let me see if I got it right here. Right. Oh, here it goes. Let me share this real quick, sir. So this cat was saying that the danza azteca, right? Like why were there danzantes, and what did he say, sir? That if you're not indigenous but you're invited into the circle and you partake in the medicine, you're now indigenous, right? Let me tell you why he thinks that and believes that.
Like he said you're native, even though if you don't have native blood.
So even though you don't have native blood, you're still you're you know you're part you're now you're an honorary indigenous, right? That's what he said.
Yeah, he said.
Look at this, right? He said you're native. This is why he thinks that. Danza Azteca, and this is what the thing says. Danza Azteca, particularly the conchero tradition, is a syncretic art form emerging from the Spanish colonial era in Mexico. blending indigenous spiritual resistance with Catholic influence. The Spanish forced religious conversion, leading to a blending of Catholic rituals with native practices, such as adopting lute-like instruments, conchas, and incorporating Christian cross imagery to align with the four cardinal points, as noted in the Mexiclor analysis of Danza Azteca. And then key Spanish influences and syncretism. Origin: the dance developed in the 16th century, stemming from danzas de conquista, conquest dances that commemorate the colonial struggle, specifically the Battle of San Gremal. So he said our beliefs were created in the 1800s, right? Is that what he said?
Yeah,
Well, their
so
beliefs,
1880.
right? Their beliefs were started in the 16th century. If we're gonna play that game, right? Your beliefs were started in the 16th century. Instruments, right? Traditional indigenous drums were often replaced by or accompanied by the concha, a string instrument made by armadillo shells derived from Spanish lute traditions. Ritual structure. The velación vigil is a private prayer-focused ceremony often conducted by candlelight in front of Christian altars. And Salakia, there's more to that, but you're seeing that this emerged in the 1600s, and it was mixed with Christianity, mixed with Catholicism. Tell me when the Chichimecas, tell me when the Otomi, the Purepecha, the Yaqui, and all these indigenous tribes of Mexico were traditionally doing Catholic and Christian practices in whatever they were doing. You understand? Here's another thing that a lot of you danzantes and all of you out there want to do is y'all will try to push pan-indigenism, where you're trying to mix all the indigenous cultures into one indigenous identity. And that actually is controversial because a lot of indigenous people are saying that in itself is indigenous erasure. And you think I'm making that up? I'm going to look that up right now. Sir. Meantime, you want to, talk about what
I could just finish on what I was going to say, right? Just going back to Second Ezra, the 13th chapter, on how, we came into the Americas, and I'm going to prove it, right? Because, they say that we came into our belief in 1880, right? But our belief, which, is our identity, is biblical. And the Most High prophesied, where we would be. This is Ezra. And one thing is, I sent it to you, if you could pull it up, I text it to you. Did you get the text?
Yeah, I got it. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, if you could present this, man. This is from the Jewish Encyclopedia, because the oppressor knows our records and he knows who are the true people of the Bible. And he used our records to locate us. And we're going to prove it. This is before 1880. This is 400 years prior to 1880. All right, we're talking about 1492. Well, I would say prior because, Cristobal Colon, he was already studying us, right? So this is the Jewish Encyclopedia, Volume 2. Now, if you could present the page, Malagma, inside the encyclopedia, this is from page 160. And you can look this
right here.
in the you can look up there. It says this is in the archives. You just type in, you could type in Jewish Encyclopedia volume 2, and it's gonna give you the whole encyclopedia page by page. When you go to page 160 and you go to Asareth. Now, can you read that, Malakma? Asareth? Which the Bible described Assyria as the country where never mankind dwelt. Go ahead, Malagma.
Arsareth, the name of a land beyond the great river, far away from the habitation of man, in which the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell, observing the laws of Moses until the time of the restoration, according to 2nd Ezra. What is it?
13 and 43, 45. So because that's where it mentioned Assyria, right? But it was from 40 to 45 is what explaining there. Go ahead.
Come on. To 2nd Ezra 13 and 45, Columbus identified America with this land.
Columbus what?
Identified America with this land.
Columbus identified America with this land. What land? Assyria, where never mankind dwelt.
Right.
The oppressor knew the identity of the people and the Americas. And we're talking about from, what is it? Canada, all the way down to Central America, all the way to the Americas, Mexico, Central America, South America, and the islands, the West Islands, the Caribbean, and all that. Columbus knew, and the oppressors, they knew the identity of the people that were in this land. You understand? So our belief does not come from 1880. Our belief comes from our own records. And Columbus himself studied our records. You understand? Now, if what is it? The Latter-day Saints. What's it called? Like
Right.
church?
Yeah. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons.
Yeah. Now they claim that we get our identity and our beliefs from the oppressor. Now, if that is true, why isn't Christianity, Catholicism, why aren't they pushing that Hispanics are Israelites? Why aren't they pushing that blacks are Israelites? If that's true, if we get our identity from the oppressor, why don't we hear it from the source that they claim
Right.
we get it from?
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
Right.
Why isn't the whole world saying that Hispanics are Israelites? That's not what the whole world says. The whole world says that we are illegals.
Right.
You know, the whole world calls us wetbacks, criminals, everything else except Israelites.
Right.
You understand? But the Bible said this: if you remember yourself in the land of your captivity, and that's one thing that we're doing. We are remembering ourselves in the land of our captivity. America is the land of our captivity. When I mean America, I mean the whole region.
Right.
Mexico, Central and South, and the Caribbean.
Right.
Is the land of our captivity. And we are starting to remember who we are. Now, I'm going to say this, that these brothers who have an issue with us because they don't want to understand what we stand for, these are the same brothers who traded, who became traitors to their own people in the times of the Mexica, right? You have brothers of different tribes who betray them, and they join to the oppressor to go against their own brothers because they don't want to pay tribute. These are the same brothers that became traitors to their own people.
Right.
You understand? Go ahead, Carnal. I yield.
So, like, sorry, I wanted to share this real quick, right? And once again, what I'm showing is their hypocrisy, right? And that's what I'm telling all y'all, what I'm gonna tell all y'all out there, right? Don't battle these cats to try and prove you're an Israelite to them. Battle them to show their hypocrisy. Battle them to show them that how they are wrong for the way they come at you. You understand? And let me show y'all something. A lot of these cats out there are pan-indigenous, right? Claim to be all about pan-indigenism, right? And I'm gonna tell you another example, right? That brother tried to mock the brother for being having Apache and I forgot what other tribe he said, right? Having ties to both those tribes. Meanwhile, this cat is Purepecha Otomi. How you gonna speak on the Apache when you're not even when you're Purepecha? You know why you think you can speak for the Apache? You being Purepecha because you subscribe to pan-indigenism. That's what you subscribe to. And let me show you something about that. Pan-indigenism or pan-Indianism.
It's not on the screen. Let me add it.
Salak.
I'm not sure if you're aware of that.
Oh, Salak, I got it.
Yeah, you got it.
Come on. Pan-indigenism or pan-Indianism can be harmful to Native Mexican communities because it often erases the unique cultural, linguistic, and historical diversity of hundreds of distinct groups by forcing them into a monolithic indigenous or Latino identity. Right? You think you can speak for someone who's of Apache descent, you know, by forcing your views and your beliefs about not being an Israelite on him. You understand? While you spoke for unity against colonialism, this overarching label can mask specific issues, cause cultural loss, and perpetuate stereotypes, right? You're trying to speak on a brother of another tribe, you know, because you don't agree with his beliefs. Meanwhile, you don't know what background he comes. You don't know what he's seen or what he knows or what connections he's made, and you think you can come and speak for him and say how he's wrong. What you're doing is just as bad. You're just as wrong. You understand? Potential harmful impacts, cultural erasure, homogenizing distinct indigenous groups such as Zapotec, Maya, and Wixárika into a single category ignores their specific languages, traditions, and distinct historical experiences. Misrepresentation. Pan-indigenous imagery or concepts often rely on stereotypes such as a plain style imagery applied to Mexican indigenous peoples, which are often inaccurate or offensive. Political invisibility. In legal or policy contexts, broad definitions can prevent specific communities from getting the recognition, land rights, or specialized resources they need. Assimilationism. Some research suggests that pan-Indianism can be connected to colonial era ideas designed to assimilate indigenous individuals into the broader dominant society, as shown in the studies of the pan-Indian problem, relationality within and beyond colonialism. Undermining specific struggles. Focusing only on a common Indian identity can undermine the unique, distinct political fights of individual communities for sovereignty and land. Contextual nuances, support, and unity. Conversely, some argue that pan-Indianism can be a tool for mobilization and solidarity against shared colonial legacies. I guess this is supposed to be the positivity. It says urban identity for urban indigenous people. It can offer a sense of community and connection to heritage in, as noted by minority rights groups and discussions about urban indigenous gaps. And then power structures can act as a mechanism that simplifies state and colonial control. In conclusion, while pan-indigenous efforts can foster solidarity, they can often act as a double-edged sword, causing cultural loss and erasure of the specific needs of diverse Mexican indigenous communities. So imagine that, sir. They're accusing us of indigenous erasure. The whole damn time, meanwhile, the whole damn time, they doing the indigenous erasure. And it's evidence when you think you can speak for someone of another tribe just because you don't agree with what that person believes. You understand? You're no different. You're a hypocrite. You know what I mean? And that's why instead of making videos against us, why don't you come talk to us first? Come have a conversation with us first and get to the bottom of things before you jump to conclusions and want to paint us a certain way. Salaki, I yield. Oh, did Officer Kamada freeze? Damn.
No, I could hear you, Karna. I could hear you.
Kawakan, I think you're just freezing on your end. But yeah, sir. So that's some example,
Yeah,
you know, like
that's what it is.
examples on the hypocrisy right there, sir.
Yeah, Karna, that's heavy right there. You understand that somebody, you know, he feels like he's the authorization of a circle. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, he probably just put that garment on recently. You know,
Right.
And that's the thing, like that brother is just prideful. He doesn't want to understand brothers' experiences and backgrounds. You understand?
Right.
He believes that what he got going on is the truth.
Right.
And that's one thing. You know, the Bible says you have a zeal, but not according to God.
Right.
You know, you want to identify yourself with the garment and the history. You understand? But you're not doing it according to the Most High's knowledge.
Right.
You're doing it according to, you know, what your own research.
Right.
That's the issue.
If I could, sir, you know, you can be you could claim to have followed your culture for a long time. I don't give a damn. You understand? You could have grew up in your nation for all I know. But that don't mean you can take that and try to, you know, be unbrotherly and try to ridicule a brother, you know, for what he believes. And then somehow that means you're pro that people. You mean that somehow that means you're pro indigenous. You're doing the opposite. You understand? You're doing the opposite of what you claim to be fighting for when you do that. My advice, like I said, man, we're not hard to find. You can come have a conversation with us. You could have asked us where we had a danza circle. You know what I mean? You could have asked us how we believe or why we believe we're Israelites. You understand? Instead of making a post and telling me, you know what's ironic? You don't like me telling you about what you believe or what you follow, but you gonna come tell me? You don't want someone telling you who you are, but you gonna come tell me who I am? Don't you see the hypocrisy? Don't you understand that people have the right to want to believe what they want? I mean, you got people. How are you going to have an issue with Israelites when you got our people doing worse out there, man? You got Mexicans doing worse things out there. You got Mexicans idolizing white mass shooters, but you worried about the Israelites? That's who you worried about? You got to, you know what they say, you got to sort out your priorities, carnal. You got to sort out what you're really on and why you follow that. If that's the problem, if what you think the biggest threat to you is us, you understand? When there's Mexicans out there, that's out there idolizing white people. You know, idolizing the very people that have actually caused actual indigenous erasure. But you want to fear, you know, black people. You want to fear unity with black people. You want to fear, you know, black and brown unity and blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans coming together in brotherhood and sisterhood, believing that we're God's chosen people. That's what you're more worried about. Imagine that, sir. It's a lot. You there, sir? Oh,
Yeah,
man.
kind.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it was just a lag.
Yeah, it's a lag.
I think it was a lag in there. So like, yeah.
No sweat. But still, like that was it, sir. For today, I think definitely we should drop a whole episode. We could do a whole episode talking about history and all that, and breaking that down. You know, showing the stories and the history and whatnot. And if y'all think you know that you know something and you know you got the proof to debunk it, by all means, do what you got to do, man. Present the evidence. Present thy cause. You understand?
Yeah, because that's one thing that he did. He said a lot, but you know, he didn't give us no sources. Like, you know, he was just like, oh, you know, this and that. Like, where you get that information from? Like, show us. We, you know, like, let's dialogue. You know, let's do it without contention. Let's just try to understand. You understand? Don't just make assumptions. Like you said, like you could have came to us, you know, like, oh, it was in Kansas. You know, you ask questions before you make assumptions.
You look like an idiot doing all
like,
that, man.
Don't what is gonna say? Like, don't be out there looking like a damn idiot, man.
Yeah.
You understand? But no sweat, man. We just understand that the way you speak is no different than how the oppressor speaks. But that is because you have allowed the oppressor into your circle. You have allowed the oppressor's mentality to take over what you stand for. You understand? To like, yeah, it's already we over the time.
Oh God, we over the time. No sweat. But you understand? But you get what we say. Don't follow the oppressor. Don't try to be like them. As you see the whole point, that's the bigger point. You understand? Learn not the way of the heathen. Do not do the lust of your father, the devil. You understand? Your demise only follows, man. But with that, I know we're at the top of the hour, sir. Was there anything else you want to say, or you
Nah, okay. So like I did just want to clarify. You know what I mean? Like, don't be the oppressor. And when I say you sound like the oppressor, it's like you trying to tell us who we are.
Right.
You understand? That's what the oppressor tries to do. He tries to give us our identity. You understand? When our identity is biblical, you can't give us our identity. Only the Most High, you know, can give us our identity, and we have the records that bear who we are. We have the archaeology, we have the history, we have the anthropology, we have everything that confirms that we are who the Bible claims the Israelites to be. You understand? The captivity, you know, the prophecies, everything lines up. You understand? So when you say, no, you're not Israelites, you're this and that, you know what I mean? You that's what the oppressor tries to do and has been doing.
Right.
You understand? But we're not falling for that no more.
Right.
You know, we stand. What does the Bible say? Like Isaiah. So like, let me get that real quick. Where it says the world.
If the world hates you.
End? No, the world without end.
For Israel's a world without end.
Israel Israel is the world without end. But and then it follows with we should no longer be ashamed.
Oh, you should neither be ashamed nor confounded world without end.
There you go. It's 45 and is it 45? Salaki.
I'll find it right now, sir.
Just paraphrasing, right? Right. You should not be ashamed nor confounded world without end. You know, we're no longer going to be confounded by the lies.
So Isaiah 45 and 17.
Because we stand on the truth. 45 and 17, right?
Comic-Con.
But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end. Right. And the point is that we should not, we are the everlasting world.
Right.
You understand? And we're no longer ashamed or confounded. Right, because we know our identity. We know who we are. You understand? And we stand bold against anybody who wants to say otherwise.
Right.
We can prove you wrong.
Right.
And we give anybody the chance to come out, to step out, right? To step out of your comfort zone and dialogue. You know, this is not about debating. You know what I mean? This is about the information, the records, the history. Yeah, I yield with that, Salaki.
No, kind of sweat. But with that, you know, that concludes tonight's episode. Lord Lau will be back at it again live next Wednesday night. This is gonna be, you know, Salakia late night shows, but they're gonna be educational late night shows, and Lord Lau be interactive late night shows where y'all can, you know, come in and join and give your thoughts and opinions, bring your questions, you know. But we're gonna be bringing out this truth and teaching what we teach, and you know, you can tell me why you agree or why you don't agree. You know, let's have the conversations, man. But with that, man, I invite everyone to subscribe to our channel, The Inconvenient Truth 1969, on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter X. Lord allow, we'll have an account on Kick and on Rumble next. What's the other one? Beagle, whatever those other websites are, man. You know, so that we can further our reach in the internet and the airwaves, you know. And also, you can reach us at the Inconvenient Truth 1969 at gmail.com if you want to email us and contact us, man. With that, man, be tuned tomorrow. Also subscribe to our channel, Hollywood Israelites, and ISUPK Southern California. ISUPK Southern Cal on Facebook, Hollywood Israelites on YouTube, to tune in to classes for you, Raza, for the Raza out there that believes you're an Israelite and wants to inquire about classes. You can email us and, you know, subscribe to those channels I just mentioned, man. But with that, man, Lord Allah will be back at it again next week. I mean, Lord, I think we might be going live this Friday, sir. I'm not too certain yet. You know,
okay.
We're supposed to be going live this Friday, I think. But with that, just stay tuned, Raza. But with that, I want to say Yahaba Shimi Hawashah Barakatah to the Carnales and Yahweh Shamar Alatah Bashimi Hawashah to the Mujeres, man. We're going to be back at it again next week. Lord allow.
Yeah, right.
With that, I want to say, Orale.
Shalom, Raza.
Shalom, Raza.
Go,